Okay. Whatever doubts you're having in the subject, okay, go on.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Abhinav, you can ask your doubt.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, how to practice cattle farming?
How to practice cattle farming?
Yes, ma'am.
So as you know, that India is a farming based country. Okay, so the most of the production which we get is from farming only. So in cattle farming, what actually is done is, it is basically a technique which is used to reduce like manpower, or the like man based labor can be reduced. So in which, like, the big bullocks are used, and with them a kind of a wooden stick is attached, and with the help of that, manually only the seeds can be showed with the help of cattle farming, so that the people don't themselves have to sow the seeds single time. Instead of that, they just that wooden stick, they carry it on their shoulder, and with help of that only those seeds are shown. Have you understood this, Abhinav?
Yes.
Any other query you are having? Hello?
Yes. No, ma'am.
Others can ask your doubt. Others can ask your doubt. No issue.
Ma'am, my doubt is that what is
Osmosis.
yes,
Osmosis basically is a kind of process in which there is a movement of solute through the some semi-permeable membrane. Okay, suppose if I am giving you resins, and if and the environment inside resin is very concentrated, because it is concentrated because of sugar and glucose, and if you keep it in water, so because of high concentration in, because inside the resin, the water will move from the low water concentration to high concentration. As a result, the resin will swell up. Okay, so this is one type of resin which is known as like, if we have a solution which is concentrated inside, if like a resin is concentrated from inside, so the movement of water will be from outside to inside. But suppose if you are having a sugar solution, okay, and like in that case, what will happen, like from inside to outside the water will move. So in that case, this particular cell will shrink, and this process is known as plasmolysis, or the rupturing of cell will take place. On the contrary, in other condition, what will happen is the cell will get swollen up. Okay, but if you will take isotonic solution, when the solute and solvent on both sides the concentration is equivalent, at that time water will neither move inside that or the cell, or nor it will move outside the cell. So these three are basically the condition: hypertonic solution, hypotonic solution, and isotonic solution are there in case of osmosis. So it is basically like, you can just understand it in this way, like you are having this cell. Okay, this cell is there, and this is a membrane, and this membrane is semi permeable, and if it is concentrated from inside this cell, so what will happen is, and it is kept in a tub of water. So what will happen, that water will move from outside to inside of this cell, and as a result of that, this cell will swell. Okay, but if On the contrary, if this cell is kept in a concentration when outside concentration is more, so the water will move from inside to outside, and as a result, the cell will rupture. I hope your doubt is cleared, Pragya.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one more doubt, that what is diffusion?
Diffusion basically is a process in which a substance is able to diffuse with the help of small particles. Like suppose we use deodorants, okay? Like we are spraying it on our body only, but because of coming in contact with the air particle, that is getting diffused in the whole of the room, and we are able to get that fragrance in all of the room because of that. So diffusion basically is a process which is mainly seen in case of gaseous only. Any
Okay.
other query, Pragya, you are having?
No, ma'am.
Yes, Abhinav, you can ask your doubt.
Ma'am, paroxysm.
What you are saying?
Ma'am,
Paroxysms, you are saying.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. As you know that we have two types of cells, okay? Prokaryotic cells are there and eukaryotic cells are there. So they are a kind of cell organelle which are found in the cells. And the basic purpose of paroxysm is the like the oxidation of fatty acid basically takes place in paroxysm. So paroxysm basically are like a they are a kind of these uh, small structures are there, like this is your complete cell, and is in this cell you have mitochondria which is used for the production of ATP. Then you have peroxisome. So inside peroxisome what happens is the oxidation of fatty acid takes place, or we say if like because of some drugs and other things, if some detoxification is there or other issues are there, so all those are the processes which take place inside peroxisome.
Ma'am,
And
it is
yeah,
ma'am, it is inside the cell only.
yeah, it is part of cell only. Like you know na, like you are having a cell, in cell endoplasmic reticulum is there, ribosomes are there, Golgi bodies are there. So each organelle we have their specific purpose. So peroxisome is also a part of cell only, and the function of peroxisome is the oxidation of fatty acid basically take place in peroxisome. Is your query cleared,
Yes,
Abhinav?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And one more question.
Okay.
Ma'am, centrosome.
Centrosomes. So
Yes.
centrosomes also are the part of like we have chromosome. So it is part of chromosomes only. Centrosomes are there, and they are mainly involved in the cell movement. Like we have this, like these chromosomes are there, and they are attached by centrosomes, and these centrosomes basically help in the movement of the cell.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Abhinav. Yes, Rani, you can ask your doubt.
Ma'am, what is denitrification?
Denitrification. So
Yes, ma'am.
denitrification basically is a part of nitrogen cycle only. And denitrification basically is performed by pseudomonas bacteria, in which like we know the nitrogen which we basically get is in the form of ammonia only, and if we want it to convert it into N2 or the usable form, so by the ammonification and denitrification, all these processes, the ammonia is converted into usable formed by anaerobic bacteria. Is your doubt clarified, Rani?
Yes, ma'am.
Palak, you can ask your question.
Ma'am, source of disease.
Source of diseases. Okay, source of diseases basically means we know that we say that diseases are caused because of some internal agents also or external agents also. If we talk about internal agents, so it is something like some functioning inside our body is hampered, or because of some genetical disorders we are getting some diseases and it is transmitted from our ancestor to us. But if we talk about outside sources, so like some microorganisms can be there or some bacteria can be there because of which we can get some particular disease. Suppose if we take a source of disease as air is there, okay, so if air is there, if we are having some like contamination is there in air, so if like I'm having COVID-19, okay, so if I'm sneezing, so the it is obvious that that virus particle will come in the air droplets which I'm sneezing, and whatever person will come in contact with me, all of them will get that particular contamination. So in that way, because of that only, that it is advised that for COVID-19 you should wear proper mask, because if you are wearing mask in this way, then your nose and mouth is covered, okay, so if you are sneezing or coughing, those air droplets are like entrapped in that mask. Okay, so that is one way, and like in another way, that other person will also not get contamination. Secondly, if we talk about soil, so if some person is defecating in outside, and because of that, that contamination is getting mixed in some water bodies, and if we take that contaminated water, so there are chances that because of that water we can get that disease. Another can be because of the physical contact with a person. So physical contact can be direct contact can be there or indirect contact is there. If we talk about direct contact, so sexual contact is one of the intimate contact which can be there between two persons, because of which the diseases like syphilis, AIDS and gonorrhea can be transmitted. I hope your doubt is clarified. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Rani, you can ask your doubt.
Ma'am, difference between diploid and haploid.
Difference between diploid and haploid. Rani, as you know that when a new offspring is born, there are some factors which are transmitted from mother and some are transmitted from father. Like if we talk about mother, so in mother we have XX chromosome is there, which is for mother, and XY is for father. Okay, so if we talk about like asexual reproduction in which only one parent is involved, so if one parent will be involved, only one parent is there who is able to like contribute its gene, suppose in plants or very lower organism. So in that, suppose if a parent is having 2n, like XX, so two chromosomes are there, and on two chromosomes two alleles are there, so this is 2n condition. Okay, similarly is with the father, 2n condition is there, but in plant suppose 2n condition is there, but if they will divide, so after dividing in plants, like they, how will they divide? So they will basically divide into two cells only. Okay, like this one cell is there and this cell is dividing into two small cells. So if we say that the ploidy of this cell is 2n ploidy is there, so after division this cell will form n and n. Two cells will be formed by this cell. But if we talk about sexual reproduction in which two parents are there, one is mother and one is father. So one, suppose one X chromosome is taken from mother and one X is taken from father. So XX will combine and will form a girl child. So in that case, N is taken from mother and N is taken from father. So the condition will become 2N, and that is a diploid condition. But like suppose if X is taken from mother and Y is taken from father, so XY will contribute to a boy child and the ploidy of that will be 12. So in general, you can remember it as this way also, that in sexual reproduction, mostly we get haploid organism. Whereas in sexual reproduction in which two parents are involved, we get diploid organism. I hope your query is clear, Rani.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. And students, whatever doubts you're having, just go one by one, ma'am. Okay, just go on one by one. If one student they have any doubt, then you can go on that. Don't wait for teacher to ask you the questions there, then only you can ask the doubt. Correct. Go one by one. Correct. Okay. So do on that. Please go. All the best. Okay, ma'am. You can continue.
Okay, sir.
Ma'am,
Hello.
what is semantic issues?
I'm not able to hear you. Hello. Hello. Sir, I guess that at that student side, there's some network issues there because of that, like the voice is not proper.
Yes, ma'am. Any problem?
Sir, I think that that student is trying to ask the doubt, but there is some network issue at there, and because of that, I'm not able to hear. But they are
Yeah.
asking.
So, okay. I think. Okay, you can ask now, data. I think just see your network once. Then. Okay, other you can ask then. So many are there. You can ask your doubt. Clear your doubt. Rani, Krishna, Padat, Pragya, go on. See, because
Ma'am,
of
function of
go on.
function of
Yes,
ma'am,
Rani, please
function of
ask.
testis and ovary.
Testes and ovary. Okay. So as we talked about sexual reproduction now only. Okay. So basically, as I told you that whenever an offspring is born, so one gamete is taken from mother and one is taken from father. So the male gamete basically are formed inside the testes only. So the male gamete, which is sperm, if we talk about male gamete, sorry, if we talk about male gamete, so it is formed inside the testes only, which is sperm. And if we talk about female gamete, it is formed inside the ovary and it is known as ova or egg. And when this sperm and egg will combine, they will combinedly, like when this sperm, sorry, when this sperm plus egg will combine, uh, they will form the zygote, and as a result, new offspring will be born. Now, is it clear, Rani, with you that male gametes basically are formed inside the testes, whereas female gametes are formed inside the ovary? And male gamete is known as sperm, and female gamete is known as ova or egg. And the fusion of both sperm and ova gives rise to zygote, and the process by which the fusion of sperm and egg takes place is known as fertilization.
Yes.
Any other query, Rani? If you are having, you can ask.
No, ma'am.
Ujjwal, you can ask your doubt.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you explain what is nucleoid and organelles?
Nucleoids and organelles. Okay, so as I told you, the cell is there. So cell is basically a structural and functional unit of life. If we say structural unit, it means something which provides structure to, like suppose if a cell is round, if a cell is like cuboidal, so all those shapes basically is provided by a cell only. Then if we talk about function, so if we are breathing, if we are able to the circulatory system inside our body, excretory system inside our body, so all those are formed with cells only. Then small cells combine to form organs, and organs combine to form tissue, and tissue combine like tissues combine to form organ, and organ combine to form organs in that way. So on basis of that, cells can be classified into two categories. One is unicellular, second is multicellular. In unicellular cells, we have only single cell is there which will perform all of the function. So no spatial organelles will be there in unicellular organisms. Okay, because like either it's excretion, respiration, digestion, or like whatever processes are there inside a cell will be like carried out in that single cell only. But if we talk about multicellular cells, in that multicellular cells, different functions will be performed by different cells. And like cells, we have two categories for the cells. Okay, so the two categories which we have for the cells is like prokaryotic cell is there. Prokaryotic cell is there, and another we have eukaryotic cells. And three main part of a cell are like cell have a membrane. If we have to draw a cell in this way, so this is a cell, and this is outer membrane of a cell. Inside that we have nucleus is there, and like for like our thinking process, brain is the master organ. Similarly for the cell, the master organ is nucleus, in which DNA replication and other processes will be carried out. Apart from nucleus, we have various cell organelles are there, like ribosomes are there, mitochondria are there, endoplasmic reticulum is there, Golgi body is there. So the function of like mitochondria, it is the powerhouse of the cell, which is used for ATP production. And if we talk about like lysosome, they are the suicidal bags of the cell. If there is some waste material or other things, that will be degraded. Like ribosomes, they are basically involved in protein translocation or synthesis of the protein in this way. And inside the nucleus is the structure, central structure, which is known as nucleoid. So nucleoid basically is a structure which is found inside the nucleus. I hope your doubt is clear, Ujjwal.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you explain organelles? What is organelles and where they are found?
As I told you, Ujjwal, like that cell is there, and inside cell only all these organelles are present. Okay, so if you will visualize a cell, so inside a cell, in center there is a nucleus. Nuclear is enclosed by a nuclear membrane. Inside that nucleoid is there, and outside that we have endoplasmic reticulum structure, and along with that ribosomes are there, mitochondria are there. So inside cell only all these organelles are found, and each and other organelle have their specific function. Some organelle will be involved in the synthesis of lipid, some will be involved in synthesis of protein, some will be involved in like translocation and other processes. So in that way they work.
Ma'am, but there are two types of cells that are prokaryotic and eukaryotic.
Yes.
And I think that organelles are found in only eukaryotic cells.
Yeah, advanced type of organelles mainly are found in eukaryotic cell only, because you know, if we talk about prokaryotic cell, so prokaryotic cell basically are very low class of cells, like bacteria or others, which don't need so complex kind of machinery. But if we talk about eukaryotes like humans, animals, so in that case advanced kind of machinery is required. Any other questions, students? Hello. Yes, Abhinav, you can ask your doubt.
My hepatitis.
Yeah.
My hepatitis.
Okay. So as you know that like the diseases are basically classified as infectious diseases and non-infectious diseases. So infectious diseases are basically the diseases which are caused because of some infectious agents. Okay. And like as in previous one of your classmate only asked like the sources of diseases. So the sources of diseases can be because of air, water, soil, or coming in physical contact with someone. So hepatitis basically is a disease which is caused because of the virus, and when a one person comes in sexual contact with another person, during that time that virus is transmitted from one person to another, and that hepatitis virus basically causes the disease hepatitis.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, how cough and cold transfer from one body to another?
Earlier also I gave answer to this question. So when we cough or when we sneeze, so some particles, some those virus come in air droplets, they come. Okay, so when like suppose I am having cold and I am coughing or I'm sneezing, so those air particles will those virus particles will come in the air, and if and it is getting mixed up in the surrounding. So if some healthy person or other person are there in contact with me, so they will also get contaminated with that. Similar is the case with COVID virus also, that like if a person is there, so it is advised that one should wear the mask, or proper precautions should be taken because of that only. Because if a person is sneezing and that virus is getting mixed up in the air droplet, it is the chance that if another person, if they are breathing or they are inhaling the air, so that contamination is getting transmitted inside them. Is your doubt clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And let me clear that cold and cough is a viral disease. Because of that only you have seen that doesn't matter how many medicines you take, but it usually lasts for a week or like 4 to 5 days. Because the virus keep on changing their genetic material. Because of that, it becomes a bit tricky to treat the viral diseases. Okay. Ujjwal, you can ask your doubt.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you explain what is endocytosis?
Endocytosis. Okay. Cytosis basically means a kind of process in which something is moving inside or outside. Suppose like a cell is there, okay? And when we have a cell, I told you that the membrane of cell is semi-permeable. Okay, and if a membrane of cell is semi-permeable, it is possible that something can come inside the cell or something can go outside the cell. If endo means inside, so like some particle or some foreign particle are there which are present outside the cell. Okay, like suppose these foreign particles are present outside the cell. If these foreign particles are able to penetrate this semi-permeable membrane, and if they are able to come inside the cell, this process is known as endocytosis, where a cell is able to take outside particles inside it. Okay, this is the process of endocytosis. On the contrary, if we talk about exocytosis, so what happens in exocytosis is like In exocytosis, this is a cell membrane. Okay, so in this cell membrane, like by some ways, if this cell membrane is broken and the particles are able to, the inside of the content of the cell are able to move outside the cell, and that will lead to rupturing of this. So that is the process of exocytosis. Like with one analogy, you can remember this. Exo means exit, means something is going outside the cell. And uh, like suppose if you have to go outside the room, or a strong wall is there, you have to break that wall, then only you will be able to go outside. And similarly, if something have to come inside, then also it will come by that. So these are the two processes, endocytosis and exocytosis. Any other queries, students? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. And what is meristematic tissues?
What are you saying?
Ma'am, meristematic tissues.
I'm not able to hear you clearly. Can you be a bit louder?
Ma'am, I'm asking about meristematic tissue.
Meristematic tissue. Okay, now I have understood your point. Meristematic tissue is the kind of tissue which is mainly found in the plants, and it is responsible for growth in plant. Suppose if we are having this stem is there, so some cells are responsible for the growth of like apical portion. Like if a plant is there, so the top portion of the plant will be made. So like this apex portion or the root portion. So the meristem which is responsible for formation of apical and like this shoot portion, they are apical meristems. Then some like when a plant is young plant is there, its stem is very narrow. And with passage of time, you have seen that it gets converted into a big stem. So it is because of the deposition of some tissues only. So these deposition of the tissues are known as lateral meristem. And then we have like this stem arises, like these small branches arise from the plant. So the meristem, which is responsible for the growth between these branches and this kind of growth. So this is internodal meristem. Okay, so meristematic tissues are basically the tissue which keeps on dividing in the cell, and it provides certain like growth structures in the plant. Like for apical portion, we have apical meristem. For these lateral growth, we have lateral meristem, and for internodal portion, we have internodal meristem. Have you understood this? Hello?
You all doubt is over there. Yeah.
And what is botany and zoology?
Botany and zoology. So basically, botany is the branch of science which basically deals with study of plants. Or like plants, so you will get to study about the kind of classification there is in plants, the diseases which are there in plants, and how the life processes of plants go on. Like if you study photosynthesis in plants, how the photosynthesis take place in plant, how then how like there is photoreaction, photorespiration take place. And if we talk about zoology is basically the study of animals, in which we study about how the development take place in animals. how the development of human babies take place, how the development of animals take place, what all organs are involved in that. So in short, you can say the study of plants is known as botany and the study of animals is known as zoology.
Okay, if all your doubt is over, then Swati ma'am, you can ask their doubt. You can ask them questions.
Okay. As currently I'm teaching the chapter why do we fall ill. So any ninth class students are there, so you can ask doubts related to that chapter if you want. Any topic of that chapter. Any ninth class student is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you have some queries related to that chapter, you can ask. Why do we fall ill?
Ma'am, which chapter?
Why do we fall ill?
Ma'am, may I ask?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, when we are ill, then why we feel too much lazy?
Uh, because you know that the what actually happens is now, as I told you that in multicellular organism, various organs are combined to form an organ system, and all organs work in a coordinated manner. Okay, so suppose if like you are having TV and you turn on the TV at 8 o'clock in the morning, and if that TV is running up to like 11 in the night, ultimately it will get exhausted. Okay, it will get heated up. So because of that, so similar is the machinery with humans also. We are also machines. So if we get very exhausted, if we do some excess work, because of that we get tired. And if we talk about some diseased condition, in disease condition what actually happens is the functioning of our organs is hampered. Suppose if I'm having cold and cough, so I will be having running noses there, and like my throat is paining, and I am having cough, and I'm not able to talk properly. So, so obviously that the my efficiency of working will be hampered. So mainly, like there are particular organs which are targeted in illness. Okay, so all those organs are basically affected when we get disease. Because of that, the in total machinery of our body gets hampered. And one more thing, like if you want to stay avoid diseases, and if you want to stay healthy, then you should follow some healthy routine. Like if you have to go to some short distances, so instead of using vehicles, you can prefer walking. Okay, and you should include some nutritious food in your diets. So all these things are there, which, like, like totally we can't like say that if you will follow this routine you will never get ill, but like up to some extent, like healthy lifestyle also do play a role in that. Okay, so as all the topics which I told you, can anyone tell me what actually the illness is? The definition of illness? If anyone, but is there who have understood what actually the illness is? So you can explain it in your words so that I can get to know that how much you are able to grasp from my videos.
It will interact
Ma'am,
then. Rani,
ma'am,
yeah.
unhealthy condition of the body, or we can say sickness.
Okay. So, but like when I say that like to be healthy means to be physically fit, to be mentally fit and socially fit. So, can you just explain what it means to be mentally fit or mentally healthy?
Ma'am, that means that we are eating proper food, proper full of vitamin food, green vegetables, etc.
But how will it be related to the mental health? If we talk about mental health, that means we are not having any depression. We are not having any sleeping issues. So all these things come under mental illness. Huh? If we talk about what you are saying is that how can diseases be prevented? But I'm asking what actually the mental health is. Okay, just tell me what the social health is. Anything else, students, you want to ask?
Yeah, I think they all have done their doubts, I think. So students, from tomorrow onwards, the class the timing will be the same 6:30 there. Only biology we are having 7:30 time. Okay, just inform to your friends, and we will see in the next sessions there. And so whatever doubts you are having, just keep those doubts and ask those doubts in the class there. Correct? In the next class. Okay, everyone. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. And ma'am, you want to say anything there? Then?
I will only say this to students that whatever classes you are attending or whatever your teachers are making you able to understand, please watch those videos properly. And if you are not able to understand certain things in once, please repeatedly watch those videos, and still you have queries, please come up with your doubts. We are always happy to help you out with your doubts, but like it is something where you also have to put equal efforts as your teachers are putting for you in making the videos and in conducting the doubt classes. So we will also be happy if you will gain something with our effort, because at end of the day we just want you to get good marks and get some good knowledge. That's all I will say. All the best, students. Keep learning, stay blessed, and that's all.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.